Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Good Morning Soul. And as you can tell by that yawn that was in my voice, whenever I can record these actually right when I wake up, it's such a I feel like I'm actually participating with you guys because my voice is still groggy. It's still morning for me. Literally, the way I've been recording these is so guerrilla style. I've only, because I'm trying to get this done before March 21st, and I know that's not gonna happen because I've only recorded 100 and some of these, and I know that that's only a fourth of the way done. But that being said, I'm literally using any time I have to record these. I literally just woke up. I got 2 hours before I gotta go do some. Let's record as many as we can. So that's what I'm doing here today. I'm recording my podcast for today's topic, and today's topic is a collector's item. It is something I think you've probably seen. They definitely try to put these wherever they can just so they can seem like they get mass appeal, which I think they kind of are the closest collectible item that does kind of achieve this figurine mass appeal, and that is Funko Pops. And the Funko Pops are, if you are not familiar with them, they are basically tiny little boxes, and in these boxes are figures. The figures are basically characters. Basically, they have a Funko Pop. They'll have Funko Pop movies, and that's movie characters. Funko Pop games, game characters, so on and so forth. And it's so cool because these characters, they all have a similar style. They're made with these little bodies, and their little bodies, match the character as much as it can. And then they just have big ass heads. And on these heads, their eyes are all kind of the same, where it's just kind of this cute little design where it's just they have big black eyes. But there can be little things. I'm looking at one now. It's of a girl and she has eyelashes. And other than that, though, they try to fit the character as best they can. And sometimes they have props. Sometimes they have whatever they need. And there are so many of these things. There's Funko Pops for just about every franchise you can imagine. I haven't seen any for books, but that kind of makes sense because no one would buy them, and also because you can't really design a figure when you don't know what that character technically looks like. So it's understandable. But I would if they had a Percy Jackson one or something like that. Maybe they do, and I just am not aware of it. But these things are adorable. These things are so much fun to have. Literally, I only bought one, and it was of the Fallout Pip-Boy guy, and he was the mascot for this Fallout franchise. And a large part of the reason I never got into these because I didn't really have a place to live. If you guys followed, if you guys know about that, I didn't have a place to live for a while, so I was I shouldn't carry any more junk than I have to. And I also didn't want to get into more collecting because I was just getting out of collecting for all these things with movies and games and shit. And so space is a much more precious thing to me. So I didn't want to get into them. But when I moved into my girlfriend's, I just noticed she had a decent pop collection, and she had them for her she's really into comic culture, so she had them for a lot of she has this golden Batgirl one, which is actually worth some money. If you don't know about the gold figurines, they're basically super rare versions of the already existing Pops. So there's that gold one she has is actually a cool collector's item, and she got it for the same price as a normal one. And these things, by the way, are $10 which, you know, if you're like collecting a bunch of them, obviously that's kind of like shitty, but it's like if you look at someone with like 10 of these, it's like, oh, that's like $100 worth of figures. And we have more than 10 at the house. Like when I met her, she had like maybe like 12, and now we've gotten like 10 more since then at least. And all the ones we bought in, literally, like, these things flooded the market a little bit. They like hit GameStops, they hit Barnes and Nobles, they hit like Spencer's, they hit Hot Topic. They were everywhere, and they still are. But now it's to the point where people, I think, aren't buying them as much, and they've realized these stores, like, I think, at least in my personal experience, it's kind of like, oh, this shit, like, is taking up a little bit of junk, and, like, we keep buying new ones because they're just buying all the new figurines, and, like, some of them wouldn't buy. Like, I've seen some of the same pops. From Doctor Strange, there's a character called the Ancient One. I have seen her pop figure on sale literally at every single place around my town. So I could have like 20 of them and probably have spent like $15. Like, that's how many I've seen for that character. So I've gotten all of mine for like super cheap. Like, I don't think I spend more than like $3 on mine. But like, I only want to buy them I don't want to buy them for like characters I don't really give a shit about, like, quite yet. I don't think I'm at that level. Like, I'm willing to throw my money like that yet. But I got like 3 from GameStop that are like from Mass Effect Andromeda. So I was like, well, I'm like halfway. If I wanted like the Mass Effect Andromeda crew, I'm already like halfway there, or maybe like a third of the way there, and I barely spent any money. So that's like a cool collector's thing right there. And then we got like some WWE ones that were really cheap, and I like, at first I was like, because I want them out of the packaging, because I don't really give a shit about that. Like, I know like I'm decreasing the value immediately, and I'll probably regret that, but like, I really just wanted them out of the packaging. So like my Fallout one, that's out of the packaging. But when I met my girlfriend and I saw she was collecting them, I was kind of just like, oh, I can finally start collecting these now. And she kept all of hers in the packaging, which she does. Like, she has a couple other like legitimate figurines and stuff like that. She keeps them in the packaging. And so I was never against keeping them in the packages. It was just kind of like, I didn't want to put this box everywhere. I kind of wanted them to be on display, but not like have this ugly ass box on display, if that made sense. But now I can kind of see why even having the boxes are better, because the boxes themselves not only tell you the character's name, not only like have it numbered. So like, there's a little number in the corner where it's like, oh, Pop Games figure number 185, like, etc. So having them lined up like that, like, I got 185, 188, 189. They're like right next to each other. If you had all of them, think how cool that would be. Like, they would be numbered like that. Like, that's pretty cool. And they're just such a cool collector's item. And so I think having them in the box isn't like a bad thing. Like, I would like normally I'm just like, why is it like taking up all this space just for like plastic boxes? But with these, I'm a little bit more forgiving. And I like am excited for like when stores are finally like, let's get these things out of here. Because I know it's bound to happen, because it's already kind of happening. I definitely see places like GameStop's like holding off on buying a bunch of these now. And I'll see them like, they'll buy like the dragon from Skyrim, like Dovahkiin ones, or Aldoon ones. And it's like a big ass Funko Pop. It's literally like a little dragon cute thing. But I'm just like, those take up so much space, and how many people are gonna drop all this money on like this little figure guy? They're gonna spend $30 on it. Like, I don't expect that many people to do that. But at the same time, there's definitely plenty of people who do that. I've never shopped for these things on like eBay, where I'm sure I would probably get them for like super cheap. I could probably just buy like whole like groups of them on there for cheap. And I've seen other people's collections. Like, one of my friends from Minnesota, I see him on like Instagram, and he collects them. And I'm just like, oh, like, how I love when other people do that. And it's kind of like, you get to see like the kind of franchises they like and like what they're into when you do that, which is always kind of fun. And even like the kinds of characters they like the ones I have are like a couple WWE guys, Kevin Owens, Bray Wyatt. I got like the Fallout guy. I got some Mass Effect Andromeda ones from Sarah Ryder, Liam, and PB. I got all of theirs, and then my girlfriend has like all her characters. She has like Kingdom Hearts, Sora, Mickey, and then like all the ones that she like, Belle, which she loves, Beauty and the Beast. And I really just like the idea of like characters, like having a collection of characters. Like, it's kind of like the same thing as like collecting like Pokemon figures. It's like, oh, like one by one, I'm going to like find and discover every like character from this franchise. Like, that's such a cool idea. The only like negative to that is like a lot of these characters, you know, like will look different like a year or two after this Funko Pop is released, and it's kind of just like, oh well, it's kind of hard now. But then they'll have like, oh, it would be like this character with this accessory, and it's kind of just like, I don't want you to make a bunch of these. Like, I don't know. There's definitely like a culture to this that I'm like not like as familiar with. Like, I'm sure that there's people who get like really, really into this, like super into it. But I personally, I'm just like, I don't know about it. And they're so cute. In all honesty, like I love them, and I can see how people like couldn't get into them. But personally, I think they're a really cool collector's item. I don't know if I'm going to buy like a ton of them, but I'm gonna do my best, and we'll see where my collection goes. And I'll see if I can get any cool ones, because they have a bunch of cool ones for characters you wouldn't even think of. So I think that will be today's topic. That will be it. I will see you guys tomorrow morning with another episode of Good Morning Soul. Thank you for listening. You guys are the greatest. I'll see you tomorrow. And with that, I leave you.